Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the third edition of IPR Career Summit. This year, we have Qualcomm and the L2Pro India platform supporting the event. Thank you very much for your enthusiastic response. We received over 1,200 registrations, and registrations are still coming in as we speak. So, this annual event is created with the goal of catering to the expanding IPR ecosystem in India. The one way that we thought to support the IPR ecosystem is by discussing about IPR skills, jobs, and careers. A big thank you to all the six speakers in this three-day event. Special thanks to Mr. Ravi Bhola, Managing Partner at KNS Partners, for taking the keynote talk today on this year's event theme, which is IPR careers at the intersection of law and technology. If you don't know Ravi Bhola, he's an eminent lawyer and IPR personality in India. He's a strategic IP advisor to global multinational giants. He has an MSc in biotechnology and an LLB. Ravi is a member of IPR committees at FICCI, CII, ASSOCHAM, WIPO, and many other well-known organizations. He has won several IP awards. I will not mention all the awards here. So without further ado, I will bring him on stage for the keynote talk today. Sir, thank you very much for your time. Really looking forward to your session. And I'll hand over the session to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rahul. Hello, everyone. Delighted to be part of this session and appreciate that Rahul has given me an opportunity to interact with you today. What I intend to do is that maybe for the first 15-20 minutes, I'll talk about 3-4 broad themes that I felt might be of interest to all of you. And then, of course, we'll open it up for Q&A in the chat section, and happy to respond to any queries that you may have. So let me start off with a little bit on my own journey as a IPR and a patent attorney and a patent professional, because that might also give you a little bit of an idea in terms of where, let's say, the IP industry or profession was 25 years ago when I got into this profession, and the kind of journey that we have seen in the country and even globally around IPR and patents in particular. So very quickly, I grew up in Delhi, and as Rahul mentioned, after finishing my master's in biotechnology, actually it was during the second year of my master's program that I was introduced to patents through one of the guest lecturers who came over to the university. And that was also, I'm talking about year 2000. No, I'm talking about year actually 98, 99. And some of you might recall at that point in time, there was also a whole lot of noise in India around turmeric patents and basmati patents, and how maybe some businesses outside have got patents on some of this traditional knowledge that India has. So that kind of spurred my interest around patents in particular. While I started working in a biotech company, I parallelly through the evening college, through Indian Law Institute, which is in Delhi, bank opposite Supreme Court of India, did 1-year diploma program on IPR, and that kind of really made me get a little bit more serious on choosing patents as a profession. After finishing that program, I looked for opportunities at a couple of law firms, and I joined my present firm, K&S Partners, around year 2001. So it's been about 24, 25 years at the firm. In those years, there were, first of all, not very many IPR professionals and very few patent professionals. And even those limited number of patent professionals had, actually interestingly, at that point in time, not many had even science qualification. And most of them were general lawyers who were also practicing patent, because number of filings were not much. And there was not even much awareness around IPR and patents in particular. Things grew and awareness came about in the country as we progressed further. So I joined in the firm as a technologist trying to contribute on the biotech and life science inventions, and then became an associate, and then about 4 5 years into that role, I had an opportunity to move to Bangalore because at that point in time we didn't have presence in southern part of the country. So I moved to Bangalore, and I'm based out of Bangalore for the last 20 years. Um, in terms of role, initially, the most of the work that I had was around patent drafting, patentability search, prior art search, and analysis. And at that point in time, one of the major clients I was representing had pretty aggressive, patent portfolio, overseas patent portfolio, particularly in US and Europe. So that gave me tremendous opportunity to get exposed to drafting and filing and prosecuting US, European, and to some extent, Japanese and Chinese patents. So that way, I was lucky that I had a bit of a global exposure on the patent filing and prosecution. Now, you would see generally, as some of you who are already in the profession would know that, with time the responsibilities change, and then you get into a little bit on more direct engagement with clients, people management, and some additional responsibilities on operations side, firm management. Those kind of things come up as we all progress in our career. Same thing happened to me, and so today I've seen that the as the Indian IP ecosystem has evolved. Earlier, it used to be very limited number of opposition matters, hardly any patent litigation in those days. And you've seen since last 10, 15 years particularly, a large body of jurisprudence has emerged around patents. So which means that IP professional, we all, including myself, had an opportunity to broaden the scope of responsibilities in terms of servicing clients on third-party interventions, oppositions, revocations, supporting and working with litigation team, and things like that. And then, of course, we see now more transactions happening, more IP licensing, and those kind of things are happening, which means interesting and new kind of work is emerging around patent valuation, patent commercialization, and things like that. So that's been broadly my journey, practicing patents for 25 years, as I said earlier, and hoping to continue to do that for next 25 years. So that's broadly about my journey. And today, unlike the time when I got into the profession, uh, part of it is also about acquiring some qualifications or registrations so that you can practice before patent office or before the court of law. So when I joined in, ours was probably an outlier firm because we were the only one as a firm that were hiring technical people and encouraging them to pursue law. So like many of the people in my firm and other colleagues in the industry, while I joined in as a technology person, I took patent agent exam in the first year of my professional journey, and which, as you many of you probably know, is a exam conducted by patent office. And once you clear that exam, you can appear before the patent office for hearings and representing clients. The other bit that I did was, of course, doing law through night school at that point in time, through the university, and that also gave me an opportunity to appear before courts. And then from time to time, you keep acquiring new qualifications, like to become a certified, a patent evaluator and things like that, to be able to service your clients and their evolving needs. So that's broadly about my journey. Now, second bit I want to quickly touch upon is in terms of how the client expectations have also evolved over the last several years. So earlier on, we used to see that uh, clients, um, because the awareness in the country itself was very limited on patents. So often, when we used to get the invention disclosure, it either used to be very brief, and there's not much awareness about how you can strategically, position your claims, what is your backup strategy if something fails. um, uh, and even the scientists and inventors or engineers, in term as innovators or inventors, their expectation from patent agents or patent attorneys was not that high, because they themselves were not very aware of how the system works. From those days to where we are today, there's a sea change. The entire ecosystem around patents has evolved. Clients' expectations have really gone up, because they have understood how critical the patents are, and how they can be leveraged as a significant asset by the organization or institutions. So we've seen clients, when they're engaging with a service provider or a law firm or a patent agent, they would like the patent agent to be really comfortable in the piece of technology or overall technology domain, to which the invention belongs. Which means if you intend to become a patent professional or you're already a patent professional, it's imperative for you to, for all of us, to keep ourselves, completely updated on newer technologies that are emerging. In life science, for example, we talk about things like CRISPR and some of the other things have coming up in last few years, or in, let's say, in software electronics, you hear about quantum computing and so much of innovation around semiconductors and things like that. So constantly keeping yourself abreast with the newer technologies so that you're comfortable in speaking the language of your clients and inventors when you engage with them. Because then only you can actually draft a meaningful patent or can effectively defend your client, uh, at the patent office or in the courts. So for that, it's very very important to be aware of what's happening on the science side of it. Other expectation that clients have is that in terms of accessibility, you have to be constantly available to your clients, so that as and when they have a challenge or any need, you're easily accessible. Turnaround time becomes an important element, in terms of how timely you're able to provide service, because a lot of these IP disputes could be, or IP matters could be very time sensitive. So to be able to not only be accessible but also able to do the generate the work product in a timely way and keep the client engaged is another important expectation that clients have. Now, other related element that we are seeing is that as technology is becoming, is playing a more important role, be it AI or Gen AI kind of newer technologies, clients are having some expectations from service providers and agents and law firms. Some of the themes we are seeing here, and globally, actually, it's not limiting to only India or any one particular firm, but globally, our conversations with US firms and US clients or European clients and firms that we partner with, uh, active conversations are around if you want to use tools like AI or Gen AI, where all you can use it, to what extent they are robust enough from confidentiality perspective, situations where prior client consent is critical, and where all you need to keep the clients intimated, and also in terms of, let's say, if you're able to use some of these technologies and become more productive, then clients would have expectation in terms of you making your fee structure more attractive for them, because you probably don't need to ramp up and have a massive team, but technology can help you generate more work products. These are some interesting conversations we are seeing right now across the world, and no one can really say that they have cracked it. But some of the trends we are seeing around these elements are the following. One is that confidentiality is the key theme, while different firms have taken different positions around it. But looking at the nature of work we handle, especially for example, something new, novel element we are dealing with, and it's client's proprietary item, we just can't afford to take any chance in terms of confidentiality. So that becomes the principal element of any conversation. So having enough guardrails to ensure that confidentiality and those things are not compromised is absolutely essential. Then what we are seeing is that some of these tools are able to help do basic preliminary research work. So there again, I'm seeing different service providers using these tools for doing preliminary research, which also means that the young associates who were doing earlier that bit have to up their game, because now tools can do a lot of things which they were generally doing. A 1 year associate or a 2 year associate was doing. Now these tools can provide that support. So which means everyone has to up his or her game to stay relevant and add more value. So that's another element that is important. And we've seen US law firms, I think, were in a way were the first ones to pick up some of these open AI solutions almost 3 years ago, 2.5, 3 years ago. And now we've seen in India also many of the shelf tools available for people to make use of in bits and pieces. Be it for prior art search, be it for even drafting of patents or claim mapping and things like that. So there are tools available. What is important is that what all safeguards you are putting in place when you are using some of these tools, be it having a private transformer, you're having a LLM which you train with your own body of work over the last few years, and then it becomes a very personalized LLM solution for you for your work product. And I've seen some US law firms using it and training their own LLM models so that they are able to then have new work generated when they input a query which is more in sync with their way of looking at things or doing things. So that's one important, interesting trend that we are seeing. Last bit before we open it up for Q&A is in terms of if, let's say, if I had to get into this profession in today's context as, let's say, a newly minted engineer or a scientist, what are those things that I'll keep in mind to be able to have an interesting, successful journey as a professional? Then some of the things I'll be particularly mindful as a young engineer, let's say, would be to be technically sound. As I said earlier, constant upskilling is absolutely critical. Reading up on the body of jurisprudence that is developing. Earlier, it used to be limited to largely trademarks and some element of copyright, but in last 10, 12 years, 15 years, we've seen large body of jurisprudence, especially from Delhi High Court on patent matters, even courts in Bombay, and now we have specialized IP courts, which is absolutely wonderful. So to be aware of what kind of jurisprudence is evolving in some of these new areas or complicated areas around patents is again is a must. Then a lot of work we do requires engagement with inventors and scientists to ability or skill set to in a way manage the emotions of these inventors and scientists and engineers when you try to cull out information or invention from them, and which means you have to have the curious mind to ask probing questions so that you can extract the relevant information that has to go into your patent application. Other element is in terms of your writing skills, because you are creating a patent, let's say a draft, which is a bit like a storytelling of the invention in a certain manner. So your ability to express your thoughts clearly, articulate them unambiguously, and your ability to envisage various scenarios in terms of, let's say, possibilities that may exist and various applications, technical applications that may emerge out of those inventions, again becomes an important trait. And if you have it, it can really help you in to succeed in this profession. And of course, with practice, we all can enhance and develop these skills. And as you grow further in the profession, typically what you can imagine is that you would have more responsibilities on, let's say, reviewing others' work. So quality is the key differentiator in any industry for that matter. So quality of work product is critical, and your clients would expect that you to consistently deliver high quality work. So that's critical. And then of course, with time you will have, also, a lot of work we do in patents involves statutory deadlines. So your ability to keep track of those things becomes important. Your ability to manage your time becomes important. It is a very demanding profession, because every day you will have deadlines, and you should be able to manage the pressure from the client side, as well as from the patent office or other regulatory authorities point of view. So your ability to strike that fine balance is again very critical. So I think these are 4 or 5 broad themes I wanted to touch upon in the beginning, just to set the momentum around it. And I maybe, if Rahul, you deem appropriate, maybe we now can open it up for people to pose any questions that they may have for me. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ravi. I have one or two questions, and
Sure.
please in the chat, if you can ask the questions, we'll selectively take them. Uh, so my question first is about the academic degrees that students have to do. So I have seen many people who have not done engineering or any science degree, but now they
Mm,
are interested in the patent field, but they cannot do patent agent exam because they don't have a technical degree. So what
yeah.
should be a path for these people, and also what should be path for, let's say, others who have a degree in science?
Yeah. So Rahul, as regards the first part of your question, for people who don't have science degree, but let's say have interest in the patent field, patent litigation could be a very interesting opportunity for them, or even representing their clients at the patent office for, let's say, opposition matters. In India, we have both pre-grant and post-grant opposition proceedings, as you know, and some of them become very, very high stake matters. So we have seen even our own industry, several patent litigators who don't have science qualification as a bachelor's or things like that, but are very successful as patent litigators. So I would encourage those who have interest in patent field and have the limitation in terms of no science background, they still have an opportunity to succeed as a patent litigator. And here, just to supplement this further, um, if you look at the overall landscape of patent professionals, let's say in the country, 95% or even more than 95% of the patent professionals are into patent search, analytics, and patent prosecution work.
Hmm.
So as some of these elements get more, if I can use the word, get more commoditized and more enabled by technology,
Hmm.
then the aspects in patents which are a little bit more exclusive, more niche, and more challenging offer bigger rewards. And that's
Hmm.
where patent litigation fits in. So right now we have very few patent litigators in the country, and there's a tremendous scope for people to go in that direction if they enjoy arguing cases, presenting different points of view. Then I think it could be a great career option for such people, even though they don't have the science as a bachelor's and things like that. So that's one part of it. Now, as regards the other part of your question, Rahul, if let's say somebody with science degree, of course, and wants to make a career here, what we are seeing is that uh, because clients' expectations on quality are increasing with every passing day, which means I'll tell you, when I got into the profession, and I had done master's program. Today, the client's expectations would be that if a fresh person is getting into the industry, especially in areas like life sciences or pharmaceutical, chemistry, large number of clients would have expectation that a PhD in chemistry, a PhD
Mm,
in biochemistry, and things like that are engaged in the conversation, because they can then speak the same language in terms of complexity of the subject matter and add more value. I'm not here
mm,
saying that people who have only bachelors or only masters don't have, the opportunity. Of course, ultimately it boils down to your attitude and your hard work and smart work. But just to give you a little bit of an idea, the needle is shifting towards a deeper understanding of science, greater
mhm,
understanding of complex issues in sciences, because that's where inventors and scientists would say they get more confidence in that patent agent, and will
mm,
be more comfortable giving the matter and working with such patent agents. So
mm,
these are the trends we are seeing, and I'm not undermining that if somebody only with bachelor's and this what I'm saying is more applicable necessarily to the life science segment. In
mm, mhm,
pure play software, electronics, communication, those fields, BTech is still great. MTech now is gaining more traction. But in India or generally in the world, you don't have very many PhDs in engineering side of things. So there's little different there vis-a-vis the life science and the chemistry and biotech side of it. So that difference needs to be appreciated. But overall theme is get more better, deeper understanding of the sciences through qualification, and then of course you become a patent agent, you pursue law, and flourish in the profession. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you for the breakdown. I think I'll ask one more question before we start taking the this audience questions. So I want to talk about tech transfer. So, for example, let's talk about in academic sense for academia as well as say for normal firms. So, what are the skills needed for tech transfer, and how do you feel that AI is impacting tech transfer, uh, or because academia has somehow been able to manage to get patents, but
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
not thought from the business side. So what would
Yeah.
be your advice for academia to
Yeah.
boost tech transfer, and in general for people, for the
Yeah.
skills that are needed for tech transfer?
Yeah, yeah. It's a great question, Rahul. What I have at least seen, working with academia, is that you're right that they are able to then build a bit of a patent portfolio basis the research, but then because now they have to pay the annuities and keep that portfolio alive and active, and sometimes they do that introspection whether it's worth maintaining those patents or let go, and how do you make money out of that effort, time and effort, that has in an innovativeness that has gone into to build that patent portfolio. Now, two aspects there before I come to the commercial entity or corporate arrangement. As regards academia, now, as you probably know, that in India at least, there are about six, if I'm not wrong, six technology transfer regional centers which have been created by the central government a few years ago, and I have seen many of them are doing quite well now. Now, what happens is that uh, the ones which have done well, for example, the C Camp in Bangalore, also is one of the regional centers, and they have the TTO. So, one, they are able to get professionals who can do the valuation of patents. They've
Mhm.
got professionals in the TTOs who can scout for appropriate commercial partners for the academia. And then they have got attorneys or lawyers, transactional lawyers who can structure a licensing deal or a sale or purchase of patents and IP. So that's a basic framework or core team that many of these TTOs are able to put together.
Hmm.
So there, wherever they're able to put together such things, and what I've also seen is that if the academia has a arrangement where the, let's say, professors have the flexibility to set up a startup of their own and have the IP transfer to the startup, and maybe only limited IP or asset owned by the academia, then I have seen the large commercial partners are more comfortable to work, because they believe that they are working with a private startup, uh,
Mhm.
and not necessarily with an academia, because sometimes large corporates feel that they could be out of sync with the expectations of an academic environment. So the way of looking at things like that. So that's what my thought is in terms of what I'm seeing now. One important thing where I think upstream what we have to think is, Rahul, that academia often undertakes a project basis the interest of, let's say, a professor who's running that lab, let's say, and there is very limited engagement with the corporate world at that point in time when different projects have to be ideated.
Hmm.
So bringing in a potential commercial partner upfront in the conversations to say, hey, I run this lab. My expertise, let's say, is in telecommunication. I think this is one area within telecom which I see as a potential. You guys, as a corporate player, you are let's say you are Tejas Network, or you are Qualcomm or Broadcom. I can add value, and I want to run a project. You put in a little bit of a fund, you tell me what you
Hmm.
think the industry would need 2 years downstream, and I will start the research and get you the patents, and patent will be the jointly owned or some sort of a model. So bringing in commercial partner upfront, I have think is has worked better rather
Hmm.
than having a portfolio and then scouting for a commercial
Hmm.
partner. But I think it has to be a mix of two things, Rahul. Now, and then therefore skill sets means that your ability to draft as a professional. If I'm a professional, or people in the audience here want to work in that space, then I should be able to draft licensing agreements. So my ability to draft agreements is important. My ability, let's say, patent valuation is one field which is emerging.
Hmm.
It's not big right now, but it will become big. So someone in the audience who is comfortable with numbers, and who also is inclined towards sciences, patent valuation field is again a tremendous opportunity for someone as a future looking prospect. So these are some of the things, and then someone has to have that business mindset. MBAs who can scout for potential partners. Agencies like NRDC, as you might have heard, is one agency which actually facilitates some of these introductions and creating those marriages of academia and the corporate. So that is again a platform like NRDC can also be of help. Yeah.
Mhm. Great, great. Thank you so much. I'm taking some question from the audience. I cannot read the name of the person. What will be the careers to proceed in copyright field? Quite interesting, I think, for from AI perspective also. And what
Yeah.
is the scope? I am a final year law student.
Yeah. So while I must confess that I'm a patent guy, therefore whatever I've said so far is more directed towards patent. My apologies for that. But whatever little bit I know, and of course, next time around, Raul, in case you want somebody from our copyright team to drive a session, they'll be happy to do that. But whatever little bit I know of or observed from a distance is the following. So in copyright, one of course, opportunities are there. Um, as you know that, let's say, the way the law is worded on copyright side, especially from software and source code point of view, for software inventions, people generally have seen, if they're seeking registration, they prefer patents. But then, of course, not every kind of software can be patented, and therefore inherently there's a copyright sitting. in any software, source code that you develop, and you don't need a registration by default by way of law. Whatever you create, you have a copyright over it. So therefore, not whole body of copyright registration happens as a proactive measure. That's one part. But I've seen, for example, in the field of media entertainment, in Bollywood, for example, we see a lot of copyright disputes. As some of you would keep reading, then some movie is getting launched, and then some writer would come in and talk about that. This is his copyright. So in the media entertainment segment, we are seeing a lot of copyright related issues. Those are more of advisory and litigation matters, because the registration process for copyright is pretty straightforward. You file an application, and generally in, as I understand, about 6 8 months, 10 months, you're able to, broadly speaking, get the registration. So the registration work doesn't have huge traction, and is not relatively very complicated thing. But advisory work and enforcement litigation side on copyright is where I see many of my colleagues are heavily involved and doing very well. So that's broadly my understanding of the situation is, yeah.
Great, great. Thank you. I hope it answers your question. We have another question from Professor J. Anil Kumar. He is asking, I have a postgraduate degree in agriculture with over 28 years of agribusiness industry. Which area of patenting is most suitable for me?
Yeah, so of course, one area could be plant variety protection space. We have legislation around plant variety protection, and this law came into force. It's been more than 10 years, but I think it's still evolving, and even the procedures for registration and then enforcement are still evolving. Since you have rich experience, as you said, about 27, 28 years in the agricultural agri-tech field, and which means that you would be able to contribute significantly in this domain. And I must tell you that there are not very many people in the plant variety registration work in the country. So in that context, if you really want to make a career out of it, I would suggest you start reading a little bit more, and maybe you can either, if some agriculture universities have a role. For example, I know Indian Agriculture Research Institute files large number of applications for plant variety protection. I know many agri companies file good amount of registration work for plant variety. So I would say that is one area which definitely could be of interest to you. Beyond that, even in the patent field itself, on agriculture side, there could be inventions around, let's say, fertilizers or chemicals, or nutrient media. And if, let's say, anything in terms of, in US you can have a plant patent also. So many Indian companies who are seeking registration in US go for plant patent registration, things like that. So therefore, I think there's a tremendous opportunity for you, and your rich experience in research in agri will actually be something which will be valued by your
Hmm.
clients or the organization that you may join. Yeah.
He's clarifying agri SMEs finance. That is probably his focus in the
Agri,
next comment.
SME finance,
Agri
agri,
SME finance.
as three
SME
different.
finance.
Okay, this is. I'm just trying to look for where exactly, at what time he had put in the thought. I can then read that. Okay,
You
yeah.
can see the screen. I've put it
Let-
on the
Understood.
screen.
I would again agriculture, agree SME finance. Yeah. So for example, I talked about the valuation, IP valuation could be also one piece. Let's say, so what happens, even in valuation work for patent valuation or IP valuation, um, organizations who provide that service would have a panel of experts in different domains. So, for example, there'll be some expert for fermentation, some expert will be for molecular biology, some expert will be for something. So for in your case, let's say patent valuation or IP valuation where agricultural related elements are involved is again where you can add value. Yeah.
Yeah, one more question by Professor J. Anil Kumar. How easy it is to adapt as a patent professional without a law degree or law background?
So I would say, just like in most of the cases that we saw many years ago, and my own experience in the patent field, to get an entry, initially what is important is your science qualification. So that's the key reason why organization will hire you. And then while working, certain places and universities might allow for you to pursue law through night school. In some cases now I see it's less common for a night school for law program. So I don't think it's a hurdle. It will not be that difficult for you. But what happens is that sooner or later, if you want to, let's say, grow in the profession and you want to add more value in the work product that you offer to your clients, then having a law degree helps you, because then you are able to see the issue more comprehensively. Because ultimately, even though your advice is on scientific matter, the work product you are giving is a legal opinion. So while today it might get signed by one of your team members who is also a lawyer, let's say, but I think you would also feel gradually more, you find it more satisfying if you are also able to pursue law in due course of time and become a holistic professional. I'll just give example. When I was pursuing law, as I mentioned, through night school in Delhi University, and this is 2002, 2003, large number of my batchmates were, people, senior people in different industries, and in sometimes also IS officers who were in their 40s and 50s who were pursuing law. So they were in the ministry, and as a IS officer, you also have to opine and take decisions on several matters, and most of them can have legal repercussions, right? So I have seen in law, there's, so please feel free. I would say start. It's not difficult to get into the field with your science background, but I'll also encourage you to do law in due course of time. Yeah.
Wonderful. Interesting. Uh, okay, Tamizani says thank you. She probably updated her name on YouTube. So great. Okay, Sunid Mantri has a question. Public health data analyst for 13 years with 13 years experience, has an LLB. I'd appreciate if you could shed light on how the compensation for entry level IPR roles typically compares to one's current salary expectations.
Yeah. So little bit of it will depend upon which segment of IP you would like to get into. But let's say, presuming if you're already a lawyer and with 13 years of experience on data analytics, and if you have some at least theoretical idea of IPR issues, uh, so I'll put it differently. So let's say if a fresh graduate has to get into the patent field, 21, 22-year-old, zero experience, let's say a engineer. Um, in the industry, the starting compensation as a monthly salary can range from something like 30,000 rupees to 50, 60,000 rupees for a science graduate or BTech, I would say. So that's what we are seeing, the trend as a broad range in the country. Now, in your case, because you have also rich experience as a data analyst, and let's say if you have science background, I don't know whether you have science background or not, but presuming, let's say if you have a science background and you have rich experience in data analytics, you, especially in the patent analytics field, you can do very well. And since you talked about health data, so I presume you have at least science degree in undergrad program. So I think there you would definitely be, significantly better than a fresher, and whose numbers I just now mentioned to you. But it would not be a multiple of 13 in that sense. because once you gain more experience, you can see a significant increase in compensation. But initially, if you are new, you do not practice patents at all, then initially you may have to do a little bit of compromise on compensation, but in due course, you'll be able to more than recover.
Mhm. Great, great. Suneet, I hope some your question is answered. So Tamizini is asking again, what will be the job roles or opportunities in patenting for fresh LLB graduates, and what skills are required to excel in the field?
Yeah, so here I mean, can I assume the person also has science qualification, Rahul?
Uh, I think she asked a question earlier. Uh, Let me
Mm.
check. I think so because they are into patenting. So
Yeah, yeah. So in this case, in terms of job roles, the nature of work would be, for example, you would be asked to do, let's say, figure out um, how many patents company X or Y have in India or US or Europe. So that kind of, let's say, very basic work to start with. Then in terms of complexity, gradually you would have the projects where you would be given the invention by an inventor, and you will be asked to do a prior art search to figure out what kind of existing stock of knowledge already exists in the public domain vis-a-vis this invention, and how this invention is different or better than whatever is already known in that field. So that's your prior art search, and a little bit of analytics kind of work would come in. Or work would come in, okay, here is a company that intends to work in a certain domain. They've not
mhm.
developed an invention, but they have done some, they want to get into certain field. Let's say nanotechnology, they want to develop something for some application. So they will say, okay,
So
give us
BSc
a
in psychology. She
BSc
says BSc in psychology.
psychology. Yeah. So of course, to some extent, of course, basic biological sciences part would be part of the curriculum in the psychology, at least to basic stuff. So that kind of work will come in terms of technology landscape that you may have to do on any new area in which your client may want to work in. And here, all this work, when you will do, you will have someone who will mentor you, coach you, review your work, and things like that. And then gradually, the complexity of work will continue to increase. More analytics will get involved, and then, of course, you can also be then involved in patent drafting field, patent prosecution field, where inventor will or client will give you an invention and you to draft a patent specification, which has certain specific format and approach, and their claim drafting, which is the most critical part, again is something that you would be doing. So I think slowly that's how your the profile and job responsibilities will continue to expand, and then you'll be able to handle more and more complex projects. So that's how generally the evolution is. Yeah.
All right. So Shravya is asking, I'm currently studying BBA LLB honors. Do we have internship opportunities? If yes, by the way, I want to tell the audience there is a link in the description, which is the careers page of KNS Partners. So please have a look at the description, expand the description. There's a link which is showing all the open positions at KNS Partners. Okay, so please check them out. I think this is not a question, but if you can just in general answer, if not say at KNS, then what they should be doing.
Yeah. So look, see, most of the law firms, they offer internship programs, and so I would encourage you to feel free to apply to our firm and any other firm that you deem appropriate, and I'm sure you'll be able to get those opportunities. We in our firm also we see every month several law students who come in. Many of them are pursuing BBA, LLB, and they come and intern with us. Generally, for BBA LLB students, most of them I have seen prefer working in the trademarks or copyright or GI or data protection, those kind of fields is the trend I have seen. And of course, some who are very passionate about patents, though they may not have a science background, then of course they get involved in more of exposure, basically get involved in terms of going to courts with our lawyers and getting a little bit of an exposure on how the court proceedings are in IPR disputes. So that's the trend. So feel free to apply to our firm and any other firm. There are many opportunities in that context. Yeah.
All right. So Ashwini Singh Naruka, she's asking, I'm a final year MSc biotech student. I want to seek your suggestion regarding how to initiate in IPR field, patent field as a career prospect.
Yeah. So Ashmi, I would recommend that one, if you can pursue any at least short program on patents, any online or in-person course based on in which city you are located, try to do a short program. It will give you a little bit more clarity whether this is the field in which you want to get in or not. That's what I did. As I mentioned earlier in the beginning of this conversation, that I did 1 year diploma through night school. It gave me more confidence that this is the field I want to be in. So that's one suggestion I'll have. Then, presuming you like it or you already have done so, then my suggestion would be you can write to reach out to some law firms and other KPOs that offer patent related kind of jobs. And I'm sure you'll be able to find a good opportunity at one of these places. Parallelly, I would suggest if you can start preparation for the patent agent exam. Government of India conducts it once every year. I presume it will come up early next year. Maybe Rahul can give more details. But my guess is it is supposed to be sometime in February or March next year. So you still have a good runway to prepare. So prepare for the patent agent exam, and if you're able to clear it, it'll strengthen your candidature whenever you apply,
Yeah.
wherever you apply, and you will also be able to get better compensation, more attractive role. And also, I would encourage you if you are intend to have a long term kind of thing association in patent field. Also, then once you become patent agent, pursue law as well, because it does help you in terms of growth in the organization. One part is that you are able to offer advice which is more comprehensive and exhaustive once you are a lawyer, because your work product, as I said earlier, is a legal opinion. So if you're a lawyer, you're able to provide better service. Also, especially in law firm environment, as you grow professionally, typically the globally the roles are like you become an associate, then you become senior associate, then you become partner, right? Typically, that's the kind of a role evolution you would see. Now, to become a partner in a law firm, you have to be a lawyer. Otherwise, you cannot
Mm.
become a partner in a law firm. Now, it's aspirational for anyone who's working in the law firm to become a partner, because then you become co-trustee of the firm, co-owner of the firm. You are able to get fantastic compensation, and your role also becomes more complex and more advanced. So even from that point of view, doing the law does help. So that's what my suggestion would be.
Hmm. So, uh, Ravi, your microphone suddenly became a bit like patchy.
Is that is
Is
that
there something changed or?
No, I don't think I did anything different.
Okay,
Is it better
okay,
now?
no worries. Yeah, there is a bit of a like
Oh,
breaking. The voice is breaking a bit, but it's okay. We can continue. I think mostly we got.
okay. Let me know.
So,
Otherwise, if
so
it happens again, then otherwise I'll probably switch to another connection. Huh? Yeah.
yeah, so Suneet Mantri is saying that the last date for applying for the patent agent exam is 20th of September. So not 3 days
Great.
from today. Good for the audience to know this. And also
Yeah.
tomorrow we are having a session by Dr. Prachi Pandey on patent and trademark agent exams. So
Wonderful.
I think the exams are in the first week of January or second week of January,
Okay.
and so after the application window is over. There's still 3 or 4 months that everyone has chance to prepare. So yeah, please, if anyone in the audience wants to build a career in patents, please attend tomorrow's session and please apply for the patent agent exam before the deadline. All right, one more question maybe. We have some time still. I'm Goal Guru is asking. I'm doing PG diploma in IPR from IGNOU, working as associate professor in engineering. I have a passion to become patent attorney. Can you help in this regard?
Yeah, so of course, so as I mentioned to the as a response to the previous question, I would encourage you to to take the patent agent exam, and next 3 4 months will also that will also give you an opportunity to gain more momentum, to read more about what are the relevant aspects in the patent law, because that will be part of your preparation, and this will also introduce you to the whole kind of role that you'll have to perform once you become a professional. In my own professional journey, I have seen that some of my colleagues actually in the firm were professors and teachers in universities, in colleges, including engineering colleges, and I've seen that those who have taught in their previous avatar, tend to actually succeed and do very well in the patent field. One, because their concepts and fundamentals on sciences and are clearer, because when you're teaching you have to really prepare well. So I think you would have great future in case you are serious about this profession. Suggestion is, take the patent agent exam. Look, even if you think time is too short, and even if, let's say, you don't succeed this time around, at least it will be an introduction to the field for you. You can always take the exam subsequently one more time later, but you can parallelly also start applying at law firms or other kind of organizations that offer the role in the patent field. So at least you are in the profession. And honestly, I have seen nowadays, so I'll give you an interesting example. So when I took the patent agent exam in 2001, all India, probably 35 or 40 people took the exam, whole of India. Nowadays, last this year when the exam took place, my vague recollection is about 4,500 or some 5,000 people probably took the exam. And then I think ultimately the success percentage was just about 15% or something like that, if I recall correctly. So the point I'm trying to make is that, one, there's more rigor involved in the patent agent exam, and the kind of questions that they're asking now, if you're already working in a law firm or some sort of a role in a organization win patents, your likelihood to clear the exam goes up, because a lot of questions are very practical kind of questions, and unless you're in that role and performing that role, it becomes a little bit harder to crack the exam. I'm not trying to demotivate who are not already in that role, but the idea is to tell you guys that while patent agent is one milestone, I would still encourage you to apply and get into an organization like KNS and other organizations, and you can continue to acquire qualifications as you go forward. Yeah.
Great, great. Thank you, Ravi. Really appreciate your time. Uh,
Welcome.
yeah, yeah. There were some mic issues probably at the end. Uh,
Sorry, my apologies. It was only at the fag end of this talk.
yeah, yeah. But I think that we are concluding this session. I don't see any new questions. I do have lots of questions, but I think for the paucity of time, we should end the session. And also, Ram is now with us. He's
Wonderful.
backstage, and we will start the second session soon. So
Wonderful.
great to have you, Ravi, in our channel. Great to listen to your thoughts on the latest, the client expectations in in today's modern law firm, what the skills students should have, what career progressions and academic progression they can think of. So great. I see a lot of thank you messages in the chat. So
Thank
thank you
you.
very much. Really appreciate your time,
Thank
and
you.
hope to see you in other sessions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Rahul, for the opportunity. And thank you to everyone who could join today. And also a big hello to Ram. Ram, I'm hoping to see you sometime soon. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye bye. All right. Thank you very much to Ravi. I hope you enjoyed the first session. So Ram is with us on backstage. I'll give you a one video I'll play on the L2Pro India platform. Then I'll introduce Ram. It's just a very short video, 1 minute or so, and after that we will start with the second session. So here it goes.
Hello, entrepreneurs. Intellectual property, or IP as we call it, is life and blood of today's innovative startup culture. No wonder we have launched the L2Pro, or Learn to Protect Your IP in India, to make you aware of IP protection and enforcement in the simplest way possible. We have designed this course for entrepreneurs, startup founders, and individuals from SMEs based in India. You will learn to acquire, protect, manage, and commercialize your IP without battling the legal jargon. We will go through the entire course step by step in 3 different levels. The basic level offers you the simple basics of IP. The intermediate level has a lot more in store about protecting, managing, and commercializing your IP. The advanced level will open you to a world of ideas around funding, the role of IP tech standards, and IP dispute settlement. As we move up these levels, concepts will get tougher, but the learning will not stop being fun. While this course is designed for the entrepreneurs amongst us, anyone who wants to learn about IP can take this course. So, what are you waiting for? Let the learning begin.
Great. So, folks, everyone in the audience, if you're looking for a free IPR certification, the L2Pro India platform is free of charge, and there are 11 high-quality courses. So, please, you can also look into the description. There's a link to register on the platform. And now, let me get ready for the second session. So, right now, we have with us Ram Krishnan. He is a technology and IP leader at Qualcomm, and he has over 3 decades of experience. He has held key roles across divisions at Qualcomm. He led in the modem chipsets, contributing to the first 4G launch, and later spearheaded 5G patent portfolio development, acquisitions, and litigation. In Qualcomm's licensing group, he drove major handset IP negotiations. Now he's a senior director of engineering in global ecosystem development. He advances IP and technology efforts across US, across India, Southeast Asia, and the Middle East region. So with this, I welcome Ram Krishnan from Qualcomm to the live stream. Thank you, Ram, for being with us. So I'll hand you over the session, and I'll upload your slides in a moment.
Hello. Thank you, Rahul. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone can hear me.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Yeah, I'm really glad to be here, and I'm really glad that I saw the last part of Ravi Bhola's presentation as well. He's a good friend of ours. We work very closely with the law firm there. So I'm glad to see him. So it's really good to see everyone here in the audience, and really I think I would spend my time, I think about half an hour, and I have a presentation that I've created, and I would probably spend this time kind of mostly talking about how Qualcomm has been involved in Indian entrepreneurship and supporting Indian ecosystem for IP and startup companies, which should hopefully be informative to you. And I will also spend the last part of my presentation talking a little bit about how you can think about your career in entrepreneurship in an IP-centric world where there are we are in a confluence of very important things happening with AI, with wireless technologies and all that. And so it is an exciting time to be on the lookout for career advancements. So I will talk a little bit about that. Let's jump in. Rahul, thanks again for presenting my information. So let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, excellent. Okay, Qualcomm. Hopefully, many people in the audience recognize the name Qualcomm. We are a technology company headquartered in United States. We create a lot of foundational and fundamental technologies for wireless communications. We have been doing that for 40 years. We were established in 1985. But Qualcomm in India, we are very proud of our long relationship with India. We established in 1996 in India, almost 30 years ago. And we became very big, actually. We have about 19,000 employees spread over 6 locations. Actually, our Hyderabad office was the first one where we had engineering. We also have a very big engineering team in Bangalore. So the way we are organized in India is Hyderabad is our software design center, but we also have some hardware design in Hyderabad. Bangalore is primarily our hardware design center. We even do chip design, supporting the worldwide organization, but also the organization primarily in San Diego, California, for chip design. And then we have a presence in Chennai, which is our newer office, also software and hardware. And then our business commercial organization is in New Delhi, and marketing organization and business development organization in Mumbai, right? So and another small engineering team in Noida as well. So very strong organization, and as I said, 19,000 employees, and also our biggest engineering presence outside the United States. So the United States is where we are headquartered, but India is our biggest one after that. Okay, I think we can go to the next one. So I want to kind of just give you a view of the communication system. Of course, Qualcomm works on other things also. We work on semiconductors, we work on AI, we work on IoT and robotics and all that. But today I want to just show about the communications. I think you've heard of like the 1G, 2G, 3G progression, right? It actually started in the 1980s when they had this very big analog voice telephone, which was in cars and which was like in a suitcase and all that. It was really like that was the way cellular communication started, with analog voice. You can only make a voice call and you need a lot of power, and it was a very big device, right? From the 1980s, we have come long way, right? Roughly every decade, so every 10 years, we go to this new G. So that is what the industry has really driven towards, right? So the industry has a consortium, under what we call 3GPP. Currently, it's called 3GPP. It is a worldwide consortium. Even many Indian companies are part of that, like Reliance, Tejas. Many universities are part of that. This worldwide consortium decides every 10 years, like how the communication should progress. Okay, so you probably know the history. Some of you are very young, and I'm guessing you are not around for like 1G, 2G, and all that. But 3G is really where digital communication with the concept of wireless internet. So basically, your phone can do voice, SMS, and then slowly it can also do some email, some, like you probably remember, some of you remember the BlackBerry days. It is an office productivity tool. So you're supposed to do some email and some messaging with your phone, right? But 4G came in 2010s, and 4G was really what we call mobile broadband, meaning you can get the internet, but you can get it at a very high speed. Okay, so that is 4G, right? Like, so you could browse. 4G was also the time when I think Apple iPhone launched in 2007. But really, 2010s was the time when first people could see like touchscreen displays, big screen phones, and reliable browsing. Like, you occasionally you would need like a hotspot and all that, but reliable browsing was available in that time frame, right? So that's why we call it the era of mobile broadband. Okay, and then 5G has already been launched. Actually, India is a big adopter of 5G. We have some of the fastest growth in 5G mobiles and fixed wireless in India, right? Um, all the operators, including Reliance Jio, Airtel, and all of these major operators have launched 5G, and they're also offering fixed wireless 5G. So what we call 5G is like connected intelligent edge, which means it's not just a broadband, but it's also intelligent. It can offer a lot of services, varied information for people. Different kinds of people use it in different ways. You can use it for a business. A lot of people use in rural areas, they use 5G fixed wireless for helping their business connect through broadband to find opportunities, find buyers for their products and things like that. And you start seeing like different kinds of devices being connected. Connected laptops have become much more common. Till 4G days, even then, most of the laptops depended on Wi-Fi. But nowadays, you're seeing more availability of 5G laptops, right? Like, and you get like a very, very satisfying level of usage. Like, basically you're very well connected. You don't have to depend on Wi-Fi. You can do it while you're in a train or you're commuting in a car. Hopefully you're not driving, but you can have a full laptop experience with 5G, right? And in 2030s, the industry is expecting 6G. And what is 6G? So we think that 6G is the era of like intelligent devices and AI agents and new experiences. So already, people are talking about AI agents, right? So you had deterministic algorithms back in the past. Now we started with like AI being able to like answer questions, being able to like provide some fuzzy alternatives to like deterministic algorithms by using prediction, by using like decision trees. That's how AI started in the modern era. Of course, AI has been there for many decades, but like in the modern era, like, it started like that. And then quickly we moved to generative AI. So that's what all of you are using these days, with ChatGPT, with Gemini, with Grok, and with many sovereign models in India and in China and elsewhere. People are using generative AI. So this AI is progressing very fast, right? And so the confluence of wireless and AI we see in 2030s, where you're not only having 6G connection, but you're seeing intelligent devices with AI agents. Like, so you can have a car, for example, your car might have 6G and AI, and it's offering you intelligent services while you're driving. You can say like, hey, AI agent, I want you to like give me this information, or like do a service for me. Like I want to, for example, somebody was saying, I'm driving. I say, hey, check my appointment. I'm stuck in traffic. Check my dinner appointment with my guest, and if needed, change it. Right. So the intelligent AI agent will check your calendar. It will say, oh, you're you're late because of traffic, so I'm going to change your appointment. You have 8 p.m. dinner appointment. I'm going to change your appointment to 8:30 because it is an intelligent agent, right? So it is, you can imagine like very interesting use cases. And Qualcomm has been there for all the 40 years from 2G, and we have like continuous. It's not a 10-year, once in 10 years you do something new. It's not like that. We continuously do foundational R&D, we continuously do standards and features, and we also do commercialization leadership for devices. Whether it is like phones, whether it is laptops, whether it is like XR glasses or automotive, we are in all those industries. Okay, let's quickly go next one, Rahul. I think I'll speed up a little bit. Very proud of like Qualcomm's executives have done a lot of presence in India. You can see the pictures here. Our chairman and CEO Paul Jacobs initially met Prime Minister Modi in 2016, and then our current CEO Cristiano Amon and our executives met Prime Minister Modi in 2022, and many other times. These are only like two pictures, but we have met the Indian government many times, and we have launched a lot of programs. And you can see the recent picture with the Honorable Minister India. So we are very grateful for Indian government and the very forward-thinking entrepreneurial spirit of the Indian government. We have met many of the prominent members of the government. But now, kind of top line, you will see like we actually launched a bunch of programs. I won't describe all of them, but we launched a program called Make in India for startup incubation. And then we also have innovation fellowships and labs. As Rahul was saying, we also have like L2Pro IPR training, which I'm hoping many of you will find useful. All right. And then I think I will explain a little bit about 100 UCL labs, which DOT, Department of Telecommunication, is launching with Qualcomm support, right? But bottom line, very strong connection with the government in India, and we are very happy to support startups and also innovation ecosystem in India, right? Okay, Rahul. Okay, so let me just change the topic. I don't want to talk about Qualcomm so much anymore, but I want to talk about Indian deep tech startups. So I have 3 examples here. I'm just showing you so that you kind of get some inspiration and some ideas about how to do deep tech startup companies, or how to think about deep tech startup companies. These are 3 companies that Qualcomm actually is proud to have collaborated with them and then helped them and mentored them, right? So Audio Diagnostics, I think, is in Chennai. They are using, as you can see, Qualcomm has a Vision AI IoT platform, and they're using that platform. Basically, what they're doing is AI-based wound assessment. So if you have a wound, like if you go to hospital, or if you cut with a knife or something like that, and you have a wound, Audio Diagnostics can actually use a high-resolution camera and AI to check if there could be like a it is a type of wound that might have like bacterial infection, or like what type of bacterial infection and what type of antibiotic you will need, right? So very interesting. You can do it with your phone, or you can do it with this kind of, they have a special device with the AI camera and all that, and they can use it in a hospital, for example. And so that's one of the startups we are very proud of. Actually, healthcare, I would say, is a key important area which is growing because of AI, because of communications, and it is becoming a mainstream innovation area. Is healthcare, right? You don't have to be like doctors. You don't have to be in AIMS or in a big institution to have healthcare innovation. It is becoming more mainstream. Next one is Nimble Vision. Nimble Vision is in Bangalore, I think. You can look them up. There is QR code here. They are using this Qualcomm Snapdragon modems to communicate and to help with water situation in Bangalore, as to like distribution of water flow and leakage monitoring. So you see they have like like little modules in the water tanks in different parts of Bangalore city, and they work with the Bangalore city government, actually, I think. And they basically monitor, okay, some tanks have low water because of leakage, and they want to like, send a message, and you can get a water tank lorry to like fill the water and things like that, right? So they have this communication plus intelligent monitoring to support one of the important things in city in Bangalore, right? The third one example is Ajna Lens. It is XR based, like a headwear for training. So people can put this lens, put this headset, and they can do like skill development by training them on how to do things. So you can move your hands, and your XR glass will basically tell you if you're doing it correctly. You can train on various industrial processes, manufacturing, things like that, right? And they are also using a Snapdragon chip to embedded in this device, to do this work. So this is only 3 examples, but you can see, we have more than 150 startups that we worked with. Many of them are in different industries like this. You can see there is possibilities are very open for you to like do different work with this with this kind of support from Qualcomm. So let's go quickly, Rahul. Like maybe I will jump a couple of slides. So here, patents. We Qualcomm are big believers of patents, but these are not Qualcomm patents. These are patents by startups. So we are very proud of patents filed by startups. We help with. I think Mr. Ravi was there. He talked about the importance of patents. We also talk about the importance of patents. These are patents filed by startup companies, and we put the display in our office because we are very proud of them. So more than 600 patents have been filed by startups which are Qualcomm mentees, right? Okay, Rahul, next. QIF, for those of you who are maybe doing masters and PhD, you might be interested in this, or you can tell your friends. We have Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship. We have done that for many years. We select masters and PhD students, particularly in communication technologies or AI technologies, and we give them fellowship and research grants, right? So you can see we have given like about 100 people already fellowships and grants, and some of them even publish papers, which is again very important. For deep tech areas, you need to be not afraid of going deep into technology and also researching, right? And publishing a paper is an important goal for some of these students. So we are helping with that. We have something called University Relations Team, and this is sponsored by our group called Qualcomm Technologies, and we help with this innovation fellowship that you can find in our website, right? You can go to qualcomm.com/research. Rahul, next one. Okay. So another interesting area where we have worked with the government is what is called 100 5G use case labs. You can see the map there. It is for 100 universities. It may be tier 1, tier 2, even tier 3 universities. It doesn't matter. I think, of course, tier 1 universities like IISc Bangalore and IIT Hyderabad have it. But there are many other universities who are doing this 100 5G use case labs, which basically means government wants 100 universities to think about how to use 5G to benefit India, right? So this one we are supporting. We are a big supporter of the government's programs. Out of 100, 26 of the universities are working with Qualcomm, right? So more than 25% is working with Qualcomm to think about interesting use cases and using Qualcomm's platforms and training to create interesting use cases with 5G. Of course, government is already thinking about 6G. There is a Bharat 6G Alliance. If you've heard the name Bharat 6G Alliance, they are already thinking about 6G, which is the next generation, right? So even for 6G, they will need interesting use cases. But currently, this project by DOT is for 5G use cases, and it is already in its 5th year, right? So the reason I'm saying all this is I think this should give you kind of some ideas about what to think about for innovation careers. So Rahul, if you move to the next one. We already talked about L2Pro. L2Pro is a free IP awareness course. It is a long course, so you have to dedicate some time for it, but you will get, even if you do one module, you will get a lot of information, right? So so Rahul, thanks for giving the link, and also you can send it to the participants later. But L2ProIndia.com, very simple. There's also Android and iPhone apps for L2Pro India, so you can test it out. To date, we have 18,000 students who have enrolled in the course, and we're very proud of that. Okay, next one. So very quickly, I think again, Qualcomm is helping with Prime Minister Modi ji's Viksit Bharat initiative. We are helping startups. We are helping different industries through many startups. We are supporting patent ownership and filing. We are supporting the filing costs for some of these patents, and we are closely linked with the government. So many different areas where India wants to develop incubation, IP education. All this we are doing through our last few years, right? So go to the next one, Rahul. I think this is probably where I think I want to spend some time on careers. So I think many of you in the audience probably are thinking about what careers you should have. Sorry, my phone is ringing. I'll silent it. Many of you are thinking about what kind of careers and what industries I should be thinking about, right? So in my mind, in terms of careers, there are many options. These days, probably I would say startup companies and micro entities are hiring quite a bit. Like even if big companies may be slowing down a little bit hiring in some ways or shape, startups and micro entities are doing a lot of interesting things. Of course, there are some interesting hubs for startups. Bangalore is a big one, Hyderabad, Noida, different areas, but it doesn't matter. Many cities have innovative startups, and actually they have startups with a lot of different visions for what they need to do in India, right? Um, Startups and micro entities also get a lot of incentives from the government. So you need to think about, from government, but also from other companies. Like Qualcomm sometimes gives incentives for patent filing, but government also gives incentives. I think maybe Ravi would have talked about it. Like, you can get like less fees for filing Indian patents if you're a SME, right? And then the other area which is really growing is like university research labs and tech transfer. So the universities are not like in the past where they're only doing education. Nowadays they're mentoring startups, they're incubating. Universities are doing tech transfer. Tech transfer basically means somebody who's part of the university has created some innovative idea. Maybe they have patents, maybe they have prototypes, and universities help transfer the technology to public domain and maybe create some companies, create some jobs, right? There are tech transfer professionals who specialize in this, right? So that's an interesting job career field that is happening now. Of course, I feel the combination of engineering, business, and legal is very important. Actually, you may not have all three, but if your company has a combination of engineering, business, and legal minds thinking about how to innovate, it is a very powerful combination. That way, not only you're thinking about like what is the best solution uh, for um, for the need of the world, but also best solution in terms of profitability, and then best solution which is legally viable, meaning it's not violating someone else's intellectual property, but it is also useful for you to protect your intellectual property, right? So combination of any firm which has combination of engineering, business, and legal, I think is very potent combination, right? And then there are a lot of careers on thought leadership and policy engagements for more experienced people in the audience. There are think tanks, there are policy fellowships, there are like government, quasi government organizations that are working on how to provide policy landscape, how to provide like infrastructure landscape for SMEs to develop their technologies and all that. There are many careers in that as well. So, and I'm going to stop here. I think in the yellow you can see like different industries which are very like very up and coming industries. Healthcare is one, wellness, lot of apps on wellness, right? Semiconductor is a big one. These are deep tech industries, right? Smart cities, smart industry, robotics, right? Maritime, a lot of things related to shipping, ports. Big ports are coming up in India, right? With Adani and all that, and there are a lot of automation factory, like robotic automation used. Drones are used in those ports. Space technology is gaining traction now. Drones, and then automotive is a big one, especially in India. Two-wheelers are also very big. Battery operated two-wheelers, automated driving. This is another big area. Agri-tech is big. Green tech is also big, right? So many interesting opportunities for you for your career. Okay. So I think I'm going to stop my presentation, Rahul. I think we said half an hour, so hopefully I haven't run past my time. But thanks again for the opportunity. I hope this was a little bit interesting for you and gives you some thoughts on your careers. That is the most important thing I want to achieve, right? So,
Absolutely, absolutely. So those policy uh, positions, policy roles that you mentioned, they are usually new. People don't know them before they enter the industry. Usually, it is they join a role and then they realize that something is in that direction. So let me see the chat. I think right now there are no questions. I can tell the audience if you have any last questions, we can have Ram for like 5 minutes or so. So for any questions, and of course, check out the link in the description for the L2 Pro platform. The link is there, and you can sign up for a free course. I can ask maybe Ram one question, like what are Qualcomm's products? For example, the Snapdragon, and these are the chips that are going in the smartphones. So, for example, if there are some startups using Qualcomm chips, how are they using it? Are they making their own electronic devices, or are they using existing smartphones and building apps upon them to control the hardware that they have developed?
yeah, thanks. That's a good question. Let's talk about like IoT devices because that's where most of the startups and most of the small industries are focusing on. They're not making phones because phones is a question of scaling, right, and reducing costs. So it is a very difficult industry. And as we know, only a few major companies have succeeded in the smartphone market, and that is it is always changing, but that is kind of a difficult thing to enter. But IoT, a lot of people are entering, right? So there are two ways you can do this. Like, for example, let's say you're making a drone. Okay, you're a small company, you're making a drone. How do you what all do you need for it, right? You can think about like the basically Qualcomm chip and module at the center. A lot of companies like Chinese companies as well as Indian companies create these things called modules, which make it very easy for you, right? So it will have a Qualcomm chip in it, and it will have like a PCB and all the outputs like camera output, sensor output, like all the movement outputs and all those circuitry will be already finished, and these modules will also have kind of like the all the IP and the this is taken care of, right? Like licensing and all those things. So it's very finished product that you can buy, Rahul, and then you do your design, right? Like you want your drone to have a motor, you want your drone to have like some kind of power source like batteries and all that. You want them to have like a very high definition camera because you're flying, and then you want to see the terrain and all that, right? Some startups have already done this, right? Like they're delivering. There was one startup, I think in Northeast, that was delivering vaccine in Mizoram and Assam and all that using drones, which was very fascinating. I mean, this is amazing work by some companies, right? So you can explore Qualcomm's website. You will see what kind of Snapdragon products we have and how to buy a module and things like that. Or you can go and search in the internet. You will find like module companies which will sell you a module with Snapdragon processor. It has enough processing capacity for you to do all these functions in a drone, right? So that's kind of an idea for you to like explore. So
Mhm. Great, great. Thank you. Let's take just last couple of questions and probably end the session after that. I'm pursuing Vanshika Yadav. She's asking, I'm pursuing MSc in biotechnology. Are biotechnology students eligible for Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship, or is it only for engineering and computer science fields?
yeah, thank you, Vanshika. I'm not 100% sure, but I think any masters, you know, as long as you have a some connection with how to use modern technologies, like I was saying, AI or communications, right? So even if you're in biotechnology, for instance, if you're thinking about like a biotechnology device, like I was saying, right? Like one of the startups created a device which can measure the bacterial type of bacteria in the wounds and things like that. So if you're doing a medical research which is connected with technology, then I think it should be okay. Like Qualcomm is only focusing on technology, particularly communication technology and AI technology, right? If you're connecting with these kind of initiatives, I think you might be eligible to apply. You can, I will ask you to explore our website, qualcomm.com/research, and then you'll find some information about Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship, right?
All right. So maybe the last question, Professor J. Anil Kumar, he's asking, we are a skill university in AP, probably Andhra Pradesh. How can we benefit in incubating agri-tech and fintech startups, collaborating with Qualcomm?
Another good question. We actually do work with universities. I've personally, I live in US, but I've personally visited many universities in India, and we do some kind of engagement. For L2Pro, we have some engagements, and then we also have some engagements for startups. It's not a very big number. I mean, we maybe incubate like 5 to 10 startups in a year, particularly focused on deep tech. So you can explore, I think, Rahul, if we need to, we can circulate more information, but you can explore programs for India, like I was saying, Qualcomm Make in India, which was launched under the blessing of Prime Minister Modi ji, right? So these kind of programs you can explore. Like you will find a lot of information in the web, and we can later on we can connect, right? Like if needed, somebody can connect with me directly about university programs. I'm happy to discuss.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much to you, Ram. Thank you very much to the patient audience for staying with us for almost 2 hours. It is very difficult, I understand, to attend webinars and consistently. So we've had like 70 to 90 people consistently, concurrently live on the stream. So thank you very much, everybody. Today was just day one of the IPR Career Summit. And tomorrow we are having 2 sessions. The first session is by Swati Srivastava. She is IP head of Continental Automotive. Continental Automotive in India has been renamed to Aumovio. So she is going to discuss about IPR roles and career paths in IPR. So she's a, you can say, in-house counsel at a company doing all kinds of IPR work. So she has a very good understanding of different roles and different careers that can be made. And then that session will be followed by the session by Dr. Prachi Pandey. She will take she's a very rare person who has both a patent agent registration. She's a registered patent agent as well as a registered trademark agent. So she's going to take a session on patent agent and trademark agent examinations that are upcoming in January. And the last date to apply at the IP India website for applying for these exams is actually just 3 days from now, 20th of September. So it would be great if a lot of people apply for the patent agent or trademark agent exams, so that we have a good number of patent agents, representing universities and businesses. So yeah, with this, I'll end the session. I can see lots of thank you messages. So yeah, please like the video if you liked the session. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to stay updated on the latest videos. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of links in the description. The L2Pro platform link is one of them. The careers link in KNS Partners is one of the link in the description. So yeah, thank you, Ram, once again. And I think we'll conclude the session today and look forward to day 2 tomorrow.
Very good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rahul. Good luck.
Thank you, and bye-bye. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.